Most nations in the Anglosphere feature a political system in which the country's politics is dominated by two parties. This system is often referred to as the two-party system. Please note that the reason why I say dominated by two parties is that the two-party system is not akin to a one-party system like that of China or Cuba, in which the respective communist parties are the sole lawful political parties. While in some countries such as Britain and Canada the system is beginning to show signs of fragility, its stability has traditionally been provided, as the Vosges law explains, by the first-past-the-post system of election, which in stark contrast to proportional representation allows for well-established and larger big tent parties to maintain their dominance. In the first-past-the-post system, officials are elected through a system of single-member constituencies, which only elect the individual candidate who obtained the largest vote share, regardless of their margin. Let us have a look at the major countries in the Anglosphere and see which parties dominate their politics. In the UK, Labour and Conservatives. In the US, Democrats and Republicans. In Canada, Liberals and Conservatives. In Australia, Labour and Liberals. One pattern that you might spot right away is the fact that all of these parties use either blue or red as their color. Red for the left, the global standard for center-left to left-wing politics, and blue for the right, the global standard for center-right to right-wing politics, with the US as always being an outlier. But if you focus for a second on Canada and Australia, you'll notice something else. That within the two-party system tradition, the Canadian Liberal Party represents the mainstream left of Canadian politics, while in its own country, the Australian Liberal Party represents the mainstream right. This begs the question, why? Why would two parties sharing the same name and nominally the same ideology represent different political factions in their respective countries? This is a phenomenon that I would call the liberal dualism. The word liberalism carries in fact two different meanings between North America and roughly the rest of the world. While in the US and Canada, liberalism is often associated with progressive views and values, a more interventionist state, and somewhat welfarist economic policies, in the rest of the world, liberal political parties usually stand for limited government, fiscal conservatism, individual responsibility, and in some cases, even social conservatism. Several political parties throughout Europe holding a combination of fiscally conservative and socially liberal views are in fact often classified as liberal conservative. Think for instance of the Netherlands, one of the most socially liberal countries in the world, having been the first to legalize same-sex marriage in 2001, the Netherlands isn't really known for its radical left-wing economic policies, but rather for having a high-performing market economy. But all in all, what caused the liberal dualism to become a thing? Much of it traces back to the 1930s, more specifically to FDR's presidency and his New Deal agenda, which was widely described as liberal. Furthermore, with the Red Scare raging on in the US throughout the years of the Cold War, it would be an understatement to say that it had become politically very risky for more left-leaning politicians to describe themselves as socialists or even social democrats. In such a context, the word liberal became a very appealing and convenient solution for those seeking an alternative.